Hey, my pivoters, if you spent years working in government, higher education, the military, or a nonprofit, first, thank you. That work matters. And second, I want to talk to you today about something that trips up a lot of people, just like you, when they're trying to move into the private sector. It's the salary talk. Here's the tricky part. A private sector hiring manager might not understand your job title. They might not know what your pay grade means or how your agency's structure works. But you know what they do understand? Business problems, people problems, cost problems, and results. And so today, we're going to translate your experience and your worth into language that the private sector actually speaks. So, why does translation matter? Here's the honest truth. If you've spent your career on a fixed pay scale, talking about market value can feel like a brand new language. And it kind of is. That doesn't mean your experience is worth less. It just means that it's been described in words that only make sense inside your old organization. The private sector recruiter is moving fast. They're asking themselves, can this person help us move quicker, serve people better, reduce risk, save money, and lead a team? If your resume or LinkedIn doesn't answer that clearly, they'll move on to the next person, even if you were the strongest candidate. So, this is going to take a mindset shift. In the public service, a lot of value comes from things like process, fairness, compliance, and stewardship. Those things still matter in the private sector, but most private employers are also listening for words like speed, growth, customer impact, and cost control. Remember, I always tell you that if you can prove that the work that you've done has impact people's processes, people, and profits, you're golden. So you don't have to throw away your values. You just have to connect them to outcomes your new audience recognizes. So let's take some steps to do that. And then step number one, we're going to name the business function. And we're going to do that by breaking this down into three simple steps. And as I said, step one, naming the business version of what you actually did is key to success. Don't start with your agency's internal term. Start with the function underneath it. So, let's say you coordinated a public program. That might really be program operations. Or you handled compliance files. That might be regulatory documentation or audit readiness. Or you may have served citizens, students, patients, or residents. So that might be customer experience or service delivery. So as you can see, the words change, but the value stays exactly the same. Then there's step two, and that's where you add the size of the work that you did. And that's called adding scale. So private sector readers care about size because size helps them understand the weight of what you did. So ask yourself, did I support 50 people, 500, or even 5,000? Did I manage one location or several? Did I handle reports weekly, monthly, or daily? Without this detail, even huge accomplishments can look small on paper. Adding scale helps the reader to see the real size of what you carried. Then there's step three, showing the result. So, you want to show what happened because of the work that you did. So, here are a few quick examples from different fields so you can see this isn't just for one type of job. You see, a business analyst compares base pay against bonus structure and not just the base salary. A lab manager weighs shift premiums and benefits, not just the hourly rate. A project manager factors in certifications and past delivery history. Then, the claims supervisor weighs salary against commute time and workload. So these are different careers, but same idea, which is to show the full picture and not just the flat detail. So let's take this further and look at an example of before and after. And these are real before and afters. So before the transformation, your statement may sound something like responsible for coordinating services and preparing reports. That's true, but you must admit it's also flat. It doesn't tell anyone why your work mattered. However, transform it into the after statement, and it should sound something like this: coordinated weekly service operations, tracked performance issues, and prepared leadership reports that improved visibility into delays and resource needs. See the difference? Same honesty, but way more clarity. So, getting it? Or do we need another example? I think we need a second example. So here's another one. Your before statement may sound something like worked with multiple departments to complete special projects. However, transform it and your after statement should sound something like partnered with cross functional teams to complete time sensitive projects, clarify handoffs, and keep stakeholders aligned through status updates and issue tracking. Now, I'm sure you'll agree that nothing here is exaggerated. It's just translated into words that a private sector reader recognizes right away. So, just where do you use this translation? You use this new language in 4 places: your resume summary, so the reader instantly understands your direction; your top bullet points, so your best proof shows up early; your LinkedIn profile, so recruiters can actually find you; and your interview answers, so your stories don't sound stuck inside your old organization's language. So before you rewrite anything, though, ask yourself these 4 questions. Number one, what business problem was really underneath this task? Who benefited from the work that I did? Number three, what risk, cost, time, quality, or service issue was involved? And number four, what words would a private sector employer use to describe this same work? These 4 questions are your translation shortcut. So try this trick, and next to each line on your resume, jot a plain language note like, this was really about customer service, or this was really about process improvement, or still, this was really about vendor coordination. And last but not least, this was really about data accuracy. Once you name what the work really was, the rewrite gets a lot easier. Now, after your rewrite, read your new version out loud. If it still sounds like only your old office would understand it, simplify it further. If it sounds too polished or exaggerated, pull it back a little. You're not trying to sound corporate. You're trying to sound clear, honest, and useful to your next employer. So here's a warning worth sharing with you. Please don't erase your public sector background. It's not something to hide. It's part of your strength. But don't make the private sector reader do all of the decoding work by themselves either. Keep the truth of your story. Just change the frame. Lead with the problem you solved, the people you served, or the results you helped to create. So I want to give you a little homework for this week. And your action step this week is to pick one section of your resume and translate these lines using this pattern. Write the original public sector version. That's first. Then second, write the private sector version. That's your before in number one and your after in number two. Then, after you've done those two steps, number three, ask yourself, does the revised version show the function? Does it show scale? And does it show impact? If you can check yes to all three, you're moving in the right direction. So here's a quick word of encouragement for you, because I know that it can seem daunting during a job search. Learning this new language takes practice, and that's completely normal. That's why I'm here to help you. You are not starting over. You're translating. That's a real skill, not a weakness. Read job postings in your target field. Notice how people there talk about their work. Keep a running list of phrases that actually match things that you've done. Then back those phrases up with real proof. And I want to use a simple story to illustrate this in action. Picture someone who spent years coordinating a public program, answering questions, tracking data, and updating leadership. In the old language, that might sound like routine administrative work. In private sector language, that same experience becomes program operations, stakeholder support, data tracking, and issue follow up. Nothing about the work changed, only the frame changed. And that shift can be the difference between getting overlooked and getting the interview. So practice this week. Pick one job posting that you're interested in. Pull 5 key phrases from it. Then, next to each phrase, write down where you've done something similar. If the posting says process improvement, name the actual process you improved. If it says customer experience, name the people you served and the problem you solved for them. This is how you turn hope into evidence. Just remember to pick one lane first. And that's an important, very important tip that I don't need you to miss. Don't try to translate your background into every private sector role at once. Choose one lane first. Maybe that's operations, maybe it's compliance, training, project coordination, procurement, customer success, analytics, or program management. Once your lane is clear, everything else gets easier. And if your lane changes later, that's not dishonest. That's just staying relevant. So let's bridge this into interviews. The same translation work also prepares you for interview day. That's the whole reason why we're here, to give you tools that work throughout the interview, the job search and interview process. So, when someone asks, tell me about your background, you don't need to recite your entire government or nonprofit history. Instead, you might say something like, my background is in service operations, process improvement, stakeholder support, and compliance driven work. I'm now applying that experience to roles where I can improve systems, support teams, and deliver measurable results. That one answer gives the interviewer a clear frame for every story you tell after that. So, your final check would be, before you use your new wording anywhere, ask these 3 questions. Does it still tell the truth? And that is paramount. Does it sound like language your target market actually uses? Does it connect your past work to the employer's future need? If yes to all three, you're ready. If not, just revise it until it does. So, our quick recap would be to bring all of this together with this 5 point recap. Name the business function behind your work, add scale so the reader understands the size of it, show the result it created, use language your target market actually recognizes, keep your truth, just remove the language barrier. So, my public sector pivoters, your public sector background is not the obstacle here. Untranslated language is the obstacle. If you want a head start, grab the salary negotiation prep sheet and pair it with HRBN offer, salary, and onboarding strategist. And if your goal is a full public to private career move, take a look at the Career Search RX or public to private career transition programs. Once you translate your value clearly, more doors will start to make sense, and you'll walk into the next conversation knowing exactly what you're worth. Now, if this video helped you feel more prepared for your public to private career transition, like it, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with another public sector professional who's ready to make their pivot. And tell me in the comments, where are you in your public to private journey? I'd love to hear from you. Remember, your public sector experience has value. The key is learning how to translate it, position it, and communicate it for the private sector marketplace. Career success to you. Go get your new job.